That was Africa Fix versus Sandbox Gaming game number 2, and Sandbox managed to even out the series. We had a very unconventional picks such as Lucksmith and Quinn top. However, they weren't able to show the best game with those new picks. Quinn and Lux, they do have some strengths. For example, Lux has a really nice ability to clear out the wave on the mid lane, and Quinn has also very high mobility. However, they did not make the best value out of those strengths. But however, it was Africa Frix losing their tier 1 turret on the mid lane also. Quinn was not able to get any kills or punish really hard of the side laners on the side of Sandbox Gaming. If they had Lucian available and Keen picked Lucian on the top lane, this game could have been a lot more different. In Africa, the Lucksmith was really unexpected. Well, Fly did play some Lux games here in the LCK, and also there are some Challenges Korea team that usually plays mid-Lux game a lot. However, we always call Lux as a pretty Kasadin. So when the team does not have priority and when she has to just answer the mid lane shoving in, she doesn't have any impact and control of the map until she hits level 11 or level 16. In addition to that, they have Jhin and Nautilus on the bottom lane, which guarantees some certain amount of CCs, but they don't have enough damage. If they were going for some unorthodox picks, they could have just gone for Lilia instead. Now let's take a look at the highlight where Sandbox Gaming was trying to get a kill onto Quinn. Jace was able to clear out this ward, and then Seth was coming in for a gank. And at the same time, watch, Gorilla was roaming to the top lane because after the first reset, because Jhin is not the best champion to raise the turrets, he can, well, Brown was really freely roaming around the map. They saw the enemy jungler, and also even Gorilla was up in the top lane. So this was a very easy kill heading over to side of Sandbox Gaming. Jace was able to have a huge gold lead based on this kill. At the same time, Azir had much more priority on the mid lane, so he was able to group up with Jace as well. When Sandbox Gaming was raising the tier 2 turret on the top lane, Jhin was only getting 1 or 2 plates on the bottom lane. And we have this highlight at the 28-minute mark where Africa Frix showed the weakness of their comp. Even though Africa Frix actually had a favoring spot for this fight, Sandbox Gaming was the one winning the fight in the end. Kian did manage to pick up a kill with this 1v1 fight, however, the followed up fight was somewhat different. The sustainability between two AD carriers was really different, and also Azir has much more power to put impact in team fights. Jhin and Lux, those two champions requires a bit of a time in order to scale enough. And the DPS on the side of Sandbox Gaming was much more higher compared to that of Africa Frix. Because there were no frontliners on the side of Africa Frix, Caitlyn was able to even flash forward. Africa Frix, they had a lot of conditions that they needed to get a win in this game. For example, Queen dominating the side lane, but they were not able to execute any of these options. Sandbox is not a weak team who will lose those kind of a comp that does not have any viable, any rational reason. Now it's time to check out the player of the game on the side of Sandbox Gaming. Summit on Jace. It's been a while since he picked up the POG here in the LCK, and also it's been a while since we saw him taking down King on the top lane as well. This time around, a lot of attention was headed over to the top lane, and Summit successfully absorbed all the aggro and turned it around. Summit did not make any critical mistakes in this game. And I mean, indeed, Africa Freaks had some poke damage, but Jace was also there to put a lot of damage as well. Well, Jace EQ did more damage compared to Lux ultimate, to be honest, in this game. And Summit picked up 7 votes out of 12, and some votes headed over to OnFlick as well. 2 votes over to the support Gorilla. So, yeah, those other players who got the POG votes were also showing a very good performance. And let's move on to game number 3.
I actually think that those votes were pretty good. Mr. Valdanalist, of course, we were correct with our choice. I say we.
They were good when we get them right.
Yeah. We got it right. But I think Gorilla definitely deserves a look in, as well as the fact that OnFleek did play some pretty good set jungle up against the volley bear that can be a difficult.
For sure. Yeah. I think Root also had a pretty good game there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just overall, as we mentioned, it's kind of a team win. Everybody was doing their job very well, and nobody made any critical mistakes, which is a couple of things that they said about Summit, but I think that applies to pretty much the whole team. As Fly, he's got to reset his brain after playing Lux. He's like, oh, I'm not playing support. Let me go ahead and play something else.
Looking forward to seeing him on something else. I think that, like they said on the analyst desk, they were talking about the fact that Africa had a comp that was difficult to play, right? Like, it needed certain things to go right. They needed to achieve certain things, and they weren't able to do so. I think a Jace ban would be important for the next game as well. Felt like they just didn't really have too many options to take that one away, and with the Lucian being banned away every single game, it's not something that they've been able to really figure out. As no, it wasn't banned in the first one, but it was banned in the second game. And then the Jace pick was a stroke of genius on the side of Sandbox. But now it's all different. Afrika moved back to the correct color. And we are going to have a Bannon pick that is not going to make me upset. So here we go.
Yes, the colors match. And Azir is immediately banned. So they're like, well, we don't want to deal with that again. No thank you. As now we're going to go down the line of 80 carries. With the Senna ban, you can see that they are edging towards potentially first picking Caitlyn, which could mean that Sandbox avoid banning the Volibear. So they say, well, we'll ban the Volibear in that case, and then we'll first pick Caitlyn. So what will Sandbox do? They ban the Caitlyn themselves?
Oh, yeah, and actually they can't ban Ashe, because otherwise...
You'd like to have the Ashe as the counter. So do you ban the Caitlyn here, or do you ban like a Karma or even a Set, if you want to go down that line?
I think you have to leave both Ashe and Caitlyn up. As, Set could be banned. Certainly another option here. Trundle taken off the board.
Yeah, remember game 1, Spirit did receive the player of the game for his Trundle. Not necessarily something we were considering bannable, because, as you were mentioning, you want to leave some stuff open so that you can get some picks for yourself. So the Ashe remains. They could try to pick that here. Or will they go with something else? As Karma and Set are both available.
Yeah, Set Karma could be picked up. Certainly would be the tier list choice. And then they'll probably third round the Ashe, which will be a lot of added power.
Maybe Afrika steal it away. Oh, never mind. The joke is done. We got Lilia here for Spirit.
Oh, and maybe Fly's back on the Lux. Probably not going to happen, as Ben should be on that one alongside the Caitlyn bottom lane. But yeah, Spirit's already said that he was going to play it, and finally he actually does.
Yeah, you heard me calling him a troll. So he played the troll, and then he denied the troll by playing the Lilia.
I like it.
He does like to troll interviews from time to time, but this time he was for real, as he did eventually get onto that pick. And Jhin is going to be the choice here, which is very interesting, that they think that the Jhin is a better pick here instead of the Ashe.
Yeah, I actually prefer the Ashe personally, especially alongside Karma. I think that's just a lot of lane control. But
also against this team, I mean.
Yeah, right.
Maybe with the Jhin you can stay way back and, W and R and just But if you're within the range, I mean, we saw what Caitlyn can do to Jhin in the late game. It's like, yes, Jhin has some crits too, but the Caitlyn's going to be firing a bit faster, and I don't know. I would have preferred the Ashe, but maybe that's just a root preference. You know, we're not on the comp, so not 100%, as Mordekaiser's going to be taken away from Keen. This happened in game number 1 as well. And now Orianna in the mid lane. They do not want to see that pick.
Final ban for Afrika. See whether they still stick towards the top side. Jace could be banned away here. Actually would very much like that, because it looks like Afrika are aiming for something like a Renekton. If they can get there. So Jace ban recommended, but Quinn taken off the board. Okay. So they want, I guess, a Renekton versus Jace matchup.
Yeah, it does feel that way, doesn't it? They say, well, the Quinn is actually strong into the Jace, so we'd want to deny that. And as you're mentioning, they could pick the Renekton for themselves. We'll have to wait and see what they do want to prioritize.
Looks like Sandbox are holding on to their last pick in either the jungle or the top lane, given the flex nature of the set. As our Root will be picking up the Syndra here. So holding some cards pretty close to the chest of good old Sandbox.
What do you choose in the mid lane alongside Renekton? Because it does feel like Renekton is coming out here, right? Or maybe they're going to play some mind games, hover it, say, ooh, you want this, don't you? And then pick something else. Nope, just looks like a straight-up Renekton pick here.
Yep, no surprises.
Good call.
Oh, do they mid-Jace? Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Deny the matchup.
That, you know?
I mean, if it was
wouldn't
if it was a
mind that.
player other than Fly,
Yeah.
it'd be okay.
It's true.
But
You know, if it were Showmaker, really.
Yeah, right?
Like we saw in the first series. Oh, boy. Well, TF is open. That's also a good choice alongside of this team composition.
sort of flew off our radar a little bit here. As
Yeah.
okay, Summit's going back to an old strategy, which is out-tank the Renekton. Bramble Vest, of course, extraordinarily high value against the Crocodile, and that is going to be their decision. So a bit of late-game insurance, a massive amount of damage available for the Jhin as well, as soon as that Molten Edge comes in. And we'll see whether Fate is going to build an early Rabbidan's Death Cap for that Death Crown power. Should be very interesting. I do like Sandbox's composition, just very standard stuff. Afrika, they're the ones trying the crazy things. But they do have, pushing top lane, they do have a lot of control in the form of Destiny.
Yeah, they've got a good comp as well. I mean, I'm curious to see how Spirit is going to do in terms of ganking for the Renekton here on the Lily. Doesn't have too much CC in her kit outside of her ultimate, but alongside of Renekton, who provides pretty much the best gank assist in the top lane, you can do a nice amount of damage with the Watch Out Eep, right?
Yeah, exactly. You can bop him. You can sock him, bop him.
Yeah, and you've got TF in the mid lane and Lux and Caitlyn in the bottom side. So there's 3 lanes that you can gank for. We saw that Lilia provides a lot of damage, especially as she gets fed. So maybe that's the idea here. Try to farm out as much as possible and then look for some really high efficiency ganks.
Yeah.
With some of those easy to gank lanes.
By the way, do you know the name of Lilia's W in Korean?
No.
It's Ipang.
What?
It's so good. It's so good.
What?
It's way more fun than Watch Out Eve. It's Ipang. And look, no translation required. It's all onomatopoeia, you know?
Yeah.
You just walk up to them.
Jeez, that's
Ipang.
amazing.
Bop him on the head. Oh, fantastic. Keen, he's going to hang out bottom side as, oh my goodness, it's going to be a 4v5 in the brush.
ARAM. Wait,
Yeah, they send the message later. It's like, next game, meet me bottom lane. Let's go.
Where's Spirit going?
Spirit's going into the enemy jungle as both of them put the wards down.
Standoff.
Yeah, but Afrika win, right? Because they have the Lilia hanging out in the enemy jungle, able to get some vision down if she'd like to.
Do it, Spirit. Throw down a ward. He's going to wait, probably, so that he gets a better timed ward. There he goes, places it.
Might be that you can see the pings out on the red buff.
I love the prancing of
I
the
know.
Lilia.
Yeah. The legs look pretty spindly. you know?
Oh, for sure. It's Bambi.
Yeah. Okay, OnFleek gonna face
Oh, boy.
check the Lilia, but she misses her Q, and there's an orb. As now Spirit gets into the river. And so always a speed boost for a deer as they get to the river. Absolutely untrue, by the way.
Still here. He wants to steal the Raptors. We saw this the last time. Lilia is amazing at doing Raptors.
Yep, a lot of AoE available here as OnFleek pokes his head around. He's like, dang it. It's like, what? It's taking my popcorn chicken. And Spirit will be able to grab it there. Just waving his wizard wand around. It's Keen now. Let's see how much pressure he can exert onto this Ornn before he just builds too much armor for the Crocodile to do anything. See whether Godzilla is going to exist in this game. Nogari showed us that Renekton is extraordinarily powerful. I was watching the Suning versus V5 game in the break, and they're first picking Renekton over there. LPL all about the old Renekton. Not sure how the game went, actually, because I had to do that thing, that commentary thing. So I wasn't actually able to check that one out. You guys probably had a look. As Brute and Gorilla just trying to hold on to the minion wave as Mystic back on the Caitlyn, feeling much better, I believe.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to enjoy this a bit. There's the Ipang.
Ipang.
Down onto the red. Here comes OnFleek. He's angry.
Yep, Spirit doesn't have Smite, so he's taking a lot of damage here. This red buff is being very annoying. Just trying to kite around. Ipang!
Ooh.
OnFleek for a wraparound. Mystic already down to 300, and OnFleek's not going to be seen until very late. There we go. Ben gets a really good shield, and the Facebreaker is avoided on both sides. What a disaster. Losing Singularity to slow down the set.
Spirit.
Spirit is just prancing his way in.
So fast.
Yep, Bambi makes an entrance, but otherwise not able to do too much.
Looks like water walking.
It might have been Nimbus Cloak as well, as he may have smited just to get himself there faster. There we go. Oh, nailed the first Q. Face broken. As Spirit E-Bung. No, there's the flash. Flash afterwards, and red buff is going to kill him anyway. So flash unnecessary, but yeah, that was an E-Ooh.
Yeah, I don't...
Yeah.
He was trying to stay just out of the range of the Facebreaker, and he got in range. That was the end.
Yeah.
That was really it, right? He just...
he didn't want to be in range, but then he was, and that was bad.
He was playing with fire. He was trying to outplay OnFleek, but kind of failed in the process. And
Sort
that
of outplayed
Bambi
himself a little bit.
Spirit just takes those little Bambi legs and cracks it in half.
Snapped.
A little bit of a Monka W.
Yeah.
But that's essentially what happened for poor Lilia here.
Yeah, just e-bunging. The good old Rift Scuttler is Keen. Winning in the, I guess, health bar race up against Summit, but Summit happy to build some items and just chill.
He's back taking the Raptors. He's such a pest, this Lilia.
Yeah. So he's actually able to take them down as Keen spots that there are some Krugs, and Spirit's like, my wizard wand. Come on, let's e-bung them. Yeah, there we go. So Spirit not deterred by the fact that he died to the set 1v1 after picking the fight, and he's now just going to continue farming things out, largely Set's jungle. And the really cool thing about Lilia into Set is that Set struggles to farm very quickly. In comparison, more picked for his ganks rather than his ability to clear the jungle. And you can see a couple of camps ahead already is Spirit, despite the fact that he had to spend some time in the Death Chamber.
Spotted on the ward. You can see that they pinged it, actually. Red team did, so they know that he was spotted. And here it is. You're just trying to be right on the edge, but he gets clipped there on the corner. You see he moves back, trying to avoid Haymaker, but that's really it. Not much else to say about that. He's just trying to... Wow, okay, OnFleek.
X-flashing.
He's angry.
Trying to give Spirit a heart attack. He may have. It looked a little bit frightening to me, and I saw it coming. As Fly finds some wild cards. The gold card comes in as well, but you can see these orbs from Fate really starting to hurt. Spirit will take down his own popcorn chickens as well. Raptors just do not stay alive for very long here in this game, as OnFleek he's waiting oh so patiently as this wave is going to push forward from the Twisted Fate.
Yeah.
He wants to go home. He wants none of it.
Both sides kind of know where the junglers are because they just spotted each other in the jungle, so he's like, well, I can't approach this wave even though my lane is pushing. So he's going to get denied a lot of CS in the mid lane, actually, as long as Fate holds on to that freeze that he does have.
See, Mystic went for the Berserker's Greaves. Wants to be able to move away from any incoming sets. Don't blame him. Some brown bags for Ben. And Fate now with the wave in a very nice spot. You can see he's not using his Q on it. Just trying to hold it here. Very comfortably not having to worry about Lilia. Bang.
Yeah, Lilia right now, Spirit over Fly in terms of farm because of the way that mid lane went, as Fate is just casually 20 CS ahead, as Spirit is also 22 CS ahead on Fleek. So we have some pretty obvious advantages in terms of CS in a couple of the different roles, as this jungle is not on Fleeks.
Yeah,
it's Keen and Spirits.
Yeah, the Raptors are available, and therefore they're going to die as Keen grabs himself the red buff. There's Dominus as well. Flash forward, stun comes down. Spirit should be able to help grab this one, and yep, I believe the Lilting Lullaby came out. No, it didn't. He held onto it. It's just the passive. So still has that one for any other gank opportunities. Now that he's level 6, he can actually gank, because he has some form of CC in his kit.
Yeah.
Okay, so good start here for Afrika.
Yeah, and they may follow up on that one too, because Summit used his flash, his ult, way too late, by the way. I think the second you see Lilia, you probably want to try to just throw that one out, but took way too much. He's losing so much farm. Keen is going to get so far ahead. And so Spirit could potentially just go up top again and say, well, yeah, sure, on Fleek, take the dragon, take my red buff, take my bottom side jungle. I don't care. I have a lot of top side pressure from my Renekton that just got ahead. So I'll take the Rift Heralds, look to gank, and be in an awesome spot here for my team.
Yeah, exactly. See whether Spirit's going to take that long to do it. Looks like there's going to be no one in the area. Triple control ward surrounding this Herald pit. And as you can see, Keen is like, yeah, he's right next to this turret.
Renekton is such a bully.
He is.
That's not fair.
All right. The outer hasn't been taken yet. Of
Here
course.
we go.
It's 8.5 minutes into the game. As Swell Seed not going to connect. Summit just gets out of the way. Let's see whether they go for some sort of dive, as Rift Herald's just going to be put down, and Summit's just going to be asked politely to leave.
Yeah. Don't even have to go for the gank. Don't even have to take the risk.
As there it is. All the rest of those turret plates are taken, and Keen gets rid of the other minion wave as well in between the turrets. 30 CS going to be the lead for the Renekton. Is there anything Renekton can't do?
Last couple of days have been so
right?
good for Renekton, man.
Oh, dear.
It's been so good. Really showing his power, his true ability to dominate lanes.
It's just like scaling's died. Like, it's just scaling's over.
Yeah.
We used to say it in 2019. It was a dirty word until it was the only word. And now, I don't even think that we should mention scaling anymore.
I mean, if a better team is going to play the Renekton and actually use his advantages this well, then sure, looks good. As
Spirit prances over on Fleek. There's the face breaker, flashes out of the way. Destiny comes in, Swell Seed connects. But Spirit not able to enter anymore because, of course, he is extraordinarily squishy. Runic Echo's completed. But you can see on Fleek, he's got his Cinder Hulk. He's not doing too badly. His Summit's like, yeah, nah, don't really want anything to do with this Renekton. Bit of an old school skin. I like it. Haven't seen this one for a while. It's one of my favorites from back in the day. It was very cool when it came out. It sort of had more polygons than most other skins in the game. So we're just watching the prance. I'm really glad that, like, Lilia, especially early on in the game, is extraordinarily squishy, because I feel like it fits thematically with what she looks like.
I feel like they try to do that, right? If you are a really buff goat dude, you're probably not going to be squishy,
Is that
right?
Orn?
Yeah, that's Orn. Really buff goat dude.
Goats and deers in this game.
Yeah. And if you're like this big crocodile guy that's got a big axe and it looks like, you know, he's probably going to do a lot of damage and be annoying, that's Renekton, right? If you have a big wand... Yeah, he took the blue. That's kind of unfortunate. You got a big wand and you have legs that are, you know, absolutely tiny. then you're probably going to be squishy and do a lot of magic damage. So Riot does a good job with that.
Yep, worked out. So Spirit hopefully going to be able to build towards Leandri's as soon as possible. Feels like Lilia does 0 damage without it, but once she does have that item, things definitely work out as can't dodge everything apparently. But Mystic will have that double shield coming out from the Elementalist Lux. And Spirit, yeah, no, you're not taking Raptors from Spirit, man. He's Lilia. Yeah. The Raptor killer extraordinaire.
Yeah. Now, I think here for Sandbox, because the top lane went pretty poorly, and the jungle has also been kind of ravaged here. I think they just got to sit back and try to scale, right? They have the Ornn, they have Syndra, and, well, Syndra's not really a scaling champion, but definitely going to have some value against at least 4 of the members on the side of Afrika, who aren't going to be super tanky, and is going to get an Ornn item on top of the Jhin, who will as well. But problem is, you're also going up against a Caitlyn down on the bottom side who can scale pretty incredibly, so we'll have to wait and see. Afrika definitely in a great spot here. They're going to pick up the Infernal Drake.
Yeah, comfortably too. Mountain Soul going to be the one this game as Ben looks for a Lucent Singularity. Does not find it. On Fleek's here in position. Don't know whether he was spotted. Actually, I believe he was. Mystic will see him there. Oh, all right, this is interesting. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, hanging out. Now I'm going to just look for some camps. Blue buff available. That's where he's going to be. So Summit managed to get himself some turret plates. That's good news. But Spirit's taking the topside jungle again. It's just a sad day to be set if he wants things from his own jungle.
He backed away, said, well, I'm spotted, so I'll just let them have this one. I'll steal the next 5 or 6 of them. The bottom lane, once again, looking pretty good here for the Caitlyn lane. Caitlyn Lux really annoying to deal with. You can see that Sandbox tried to go for budget Caitlyn Lux, which is Jhin Karma, and doesn't feel so great. Does okay in the lane. You can see it's relatively even, but it doesn't feel just as good as even the support Karma. You know, it has a lot of power in the lane, but it's going to have a lot less items compared to what like a mid or a top Karma can bring. So it's not going to hit those levels either.
And I mean, Karma's picked in the bottom lane for the laning phase.
Yeah.
So if you lose the laning phase, that's why it's sad. And you're exactly right. It has far less of that value. So but maybe they would have been losing way more had that been the case. There's a Flash Gold card as Fate flashes out. Flash for Flash.
I gotta
probably take that.
Gotta watch some Godzilla movies to get some references after how much Renekton we're seeing and how many times he's getting fed and carrying games.
I'd recommend like the 90s one. I really like the 90s one. I think it was 90s anyway.
It's probably from like 1978.
No, it's not 1978. I promise you. It had Puff Daddy.
Puff Daddy?
Yeah, he did the song, which was, it sampled Led Zeppelin. It was actually super sick. The du-du-dun, 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 that one.
It sounds like a fun...
It's a great song.
A fun combo for a Godzilla movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely going to check that out.
The Collective might be able to tell you which year it's from. Do you guys remember which year it's from, guys? 1997.
Interacting with chat. Atlas Poggy.
I mean, the Collective knows all. I don't know like how quickly they had that one available. I don't even know whether it was true. I just saw the 1997.
I think it's from 1883.
It's 1993, Kappa. It's 1995. Okay, now we just have everything.
Yeah. The second you taunted them, and they clapped back.
42,069. That's
wow,
that's an extraordinarily large number.
Maybe he's talking about BC.
Yeah, I don't know what would happen. What would be the storyline of a Godzilla movie made at that time? Is our sun still alive at that point?
Yes, so.
I think our sun's still got 1 million or 2 years in it.
Be sure.
Yeah, at least 1 million or 2. That's actually far shorter than it should be. Never mind. Okay. Afrika, take us out of this lull state. We've been talking about Godzilla movies for a really long time and not a whole lot has happened. As, yep, that wave is going to be cleared. Congratulations to Fate. Does that. flies, just sitting here talking to himself as OnFleek's going to find a control ward. And 1 minute's time, we'll have a fight around a Mountain Drake. So any other movies you want to see?
There's that new Christopher Nolan movie coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't it supposed to come out already? I thought it was like July of 2020, actually.
What's it called?
I forget the name. It's just, it had this crazy trailer where I couldn't even begin to describe it to you. Like, things were moving backwards in real time.
What? And
the whole point is to, like, for the people to be like, what is this? You know, like, so you get really hyped for it. And
Tenet?
Yeah, Tenet. I don't know. I don't know. That might even be out like on Netflix or something. I don't even know.
I got no idea. I knew nothing about this movie, but I'm excited for it. The June movie's coming out soon. We need to see that. That's going to be sick. Are we allowed to see it?
Oh, you said June. I thought you said June. That's the Australian coming out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what
that
way
happens sometimes.
What way do you say it?
Dune. Like hard
Dune?
Yeah.
Dune?
Dune, yeah.
But Dune
So you're like
is like
June.
Bonnie Doon, like D-O-O-N. That's what Dune is.
Oh, we just always pronounce D the same way, usually. Usually, I had to throw the usually in there because
it's the U that's the issue. I don't think it's
probably.
the D. Don't blame the D. It's the U.
Yeah.
You've got the problem. Okay.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Here we go. We might have a fight. We might
could.
have action.
I mean, Keen's just going to walk at him. Destiny right into the middle as the gold card's going to come out. It's a decent W.
Whoa.
Coming through from the Jhin as a massive ram. Goes on forward, but now Keen, he really is super bored. Wants to fight this one out. Massive damage coming out from Afrika there as Spirit got his passive on everyone and dived on forward. That's how you use the Lilia. Absolutely fantastic. No health bars left on Sandbox's side, and I think this Mountain Drake should go over to Afrika. Root gonna poke his face in. It's very dangerous.
Saw Godzilla turn right around.
Yeah, man.
He knows about that. He's seen the movies, unlike Valdez. And yeah, this is going to be
I've seen all of them, actually.
You've seen all of them?
Yeah, apart from the Japanese ones, the originals, which
When did
is
those
actually really sad. I think it's like 70s or something like that. Godzilla's like, that's a bit of a staple.
Yeah, well, you see here that this is what a TF can do, especially if you have stopwatch. Just hop in, drop it down. Amazing call the Forge God here. But where's the follow-up? 0 people come in. Keen spots a weak enemy, and he goes in on a weak enemy. Spirit lines them all up. Everything is lined up in this fight on both sides. It's just that Afrika got the much more effective engage out of Keen there. And everybody gets so low that they just have to back away. There weren't actually any kills because, of course, we are still in a little bit of a lull state. And there it is. That's the Drake going the way of Afrika.
So Mountain secured. Not a lot of tanky bodies on the side of Afrika. Keen's going to be building mostly damage. Although going for a slightly different build than the builds we've been seeing. Into what looks like a Titanic Hydra, potentially, unless he's just going to grab Asterix as that second item, be a little bit more of a team fight threat, and hold on to the Tiamat. Could make some sense. Leandri's is done, so Spirit now does damage. Be very scared. His Lilting Lullaby in that last team fight was very, very good. Super hard to identify, as that is a super dead Mystic. And Ben has to flash as well because he decided to get a little bit too far forward. There's the Destiny. Gorilla's going to get knocked back. The final spark, not even necessary, as that was a solo kill out of Keen, actually. Good knock-up as the Crocodile's being corralled. He should be taken down. Here is now Spirit off to the side, unable to get anything done as another Lilting Lullaby. Gets some CC, but otherwise not too much more. She's just going to gallop her way back into her forest. See whether Sandbox can make use of this. Root trying to take down this turret. As OnFleek off to the side. Hex flash in. There's the showstopper, and they will kill the Lilia very comfortably. The Haymaker just helps keep OnFleek alive. He'll wander on out, and he'll be absolutely fine. Mid turret goes down, and Sandbox fighting back. They are still 1,000 gold down. However, looking better and better as this game goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is... Keen, he looks really angry today, by the way. I don't know what's going on. Angry maybe that they lost that first game or the second game rather. And you can see Mystic here, this all starts off where he's just sitting here on Vision, great lineup by Fate. And he can't even react on time. He's still got Flash. And then Keen's like, how about a 1v3, mates? Goes in, gets the one, but they're drawn so far out of position. And I know that Ornn isn't played so often nowadays, but the amount of value you get when everybody's pulled out of position like that and nobody's got Flash, you're going to be able to line them up and chase them down. So executes that one. It's 4-on-3. And then Set, again, I mentioned it here, one of the best at diving mid lane turrets. You've got the Hex Flash. You go in, you suplex them back. I don't know why Root flashed there. I don't think
sometimes
he's ever really gonna. Well, he had his crit, right, with his 4th shot, but
yeah, didn't do quite enough damage.
Yeah, didn't quite work out there.
Summit looking for an extra level, and then he's going to divvy out some items over to the Jhin, and likely to Fate, who does have, you can see the cheeky needlessly large rod. He's going to rush towards a Rabadon's so that Summit can boost the right item. Of course, the Death Crown just so much better than the Luden's Pulse. So hopefully that's what he's doing. As our Root is clearing waves pretty comfortably. Still big gold leads as far as the top side of the map for Afrika. But bottom side and mid lane, it's all about Sandbox. And we'll see whether Fate can continue to be sort of the powerhouse for this team.
Yeah, whenever Sandbox are winning, it's because usually Fate is carrying pretty hard. And he doesn't have any of the kills, but he has set up multiples of them. He's got the most XP in the game. He had a fantastic laning phase. I mean, he just kind of dunked on Fly here in game number 3. And yeah, he doesn't have the kills, but he's given them over to his Jhin. So that's definitely going to feel pretty nice, as he also has the most CS in the game.
Yep.
Production
that Swell Seed does some work. Yeah, he does. Got a lot of CS, a lot of experience. Syndra looking good. But these Swell Seeds, man, gotta be careful.
They're swirling.
Yeah. Bang. Looking for that. As the Mountain Drake, looks like Afrika are gonna give up on it. Another Swell Seed. Not gonna, is gonna connect to Fate as now the Destiny comes on forward. This Mountain Drake is going to be secured, but now can Afrika actually take a fight? Call the Forge God is not going to come back. As Fly from the backside, I think he still has his stopwatch. His final spark comes on in. Fly goes golden, as you can see. The Set already taken down as now Ben trying to frontline alongside Keen. And Summit in the backline is being left to the Wolves, or make it the Deers. As the Caitlyn eventually grabs the kill onto the Goatman himself. As Gorilla going to escape for the minute, but Afrika do win themselves the fight. Provide themselves about a 3,000 gold lead.
Yeah, it was a pretty broken down fight in that one, as the Renekton moved in and immediately got booped up and didn't get too much value until later on in the fight, but there was just amazing damage coming out of both Spirit and Mystic in that one. Fly had a fantastic engage at the same time from behind, as he eventually did go into his stopwatch. Really good timing on that one. So he's kind of doing his job as support TF in this one. You can see that they're just going to line it up here, as Keen just goes straight forward, gets booped back, but then Fly comes in and threatens a miss on the Forge God as well. That was really unfortunate. So yeah, they get the stun onto Fate, and then the wild cards really just chunk him out. So he has to be out of the fight not doing damage, which is really unfortunate. The immediate exhaust onto Root as well gets him away from the fight. And as you mentioned, Summit 1v5. Not going to work out.
Nope. Spirit was just prancing around him. And starting to do a lot of damage, even to the tanks. In fact, that's what Lily is really good at. Just does a lot of % health damage. So you build health, you're going to have a rough time. He does have an Abyssal Mask, but I don't think it's going to be enough, even though it has been ornified. Swell Seeds are so cute. It's like, I don't know, reminds me of Wii bowling.
Yeah, it is a bowling ball. It's the first thing I think of when I see it.
Wii bowling was great, by the way.
Yeah.
Really, really good. In fact, Wii Sports in general, phenomenal.
They had a good thing going with that.
They really did.
Yeah.
Even the music was good. I loved the golf. Golf
the
really
golf was
good.
Great. The amount of damage that Spirit has done, I think, is turning some heads to the ability of the Lilia. keep in mind that she also got killed in a couple of really unfortunate circumstances relatively early on in the game, and is still having a pretty good effect on this one. Once she gets that Zhonya's, she's got the stopwatch and the arm guard now, so she can effectively use that in the next fight. But once she has that for every single fight, her effectiveness is going to go way through the roof as well.
What I want is for Spirit to also complete a Rylai's, so whenever the poke lands, you get double Liandry's value. And also, you have a bit of extra tankiness.
Yeah, it's so easy to land AoE as well. I love how Jonah Strong is just following all these little things falling out. And yeah, I mean, you're going to be AoEing everybody and doing % damage. That's really what she's about, you know. She's not going to burst you down or anything like that. She's going to get into your backline, and everybody's just going to be ticking down like, you know, they're on fire, like they're all ignited or something. So she's been effective in that. In these front-to-back team fights, she has been having a lot of success.
And Freaka on the back of it, going to be a almost 3,000 gold in the lead. As you can see, Root building towards his Storm Razor. That one's already been completed here by Mystic, who's looking for an Infinity Edge. It's on fleek just once again, clearing out control wards around the Baron. 2 dragons apiece. This game is very close, and it feels like we've just gone back to the OG LCK, you know? It's started to feel like we don't really have the lull states anymore. Feels like this game has turned into a permanent lull state.
Well, yeah, there's only been 9 kills in 27 minutes. Very different from what we saw yesterday.
Yeah.
And the day before that.
We've had some really
you and I have been
games.
Casting for 3 days in a row. That's
I know.
It's very strange.
Started to slow down at the end here. I think we're getting tired or something like that. As Summit's going to burn down. You see, the Liandry's does work against these tanky units, even though there is some magic resist built up. Root. The wall swirl seed very, very close. As Keen just throws down the ulti. Looking to try and lock down Root, but he's very fast on the Jhin, so I think that might have been a wasted R button. Unless Keen can find his way forward. Swirl seed actually somehow manages to land onto Gorilla there. There's a bit of a combo from Ben, but this is not mid lane Lux this time. They just can't quite get the poke to stick. Gorilla, I think, is doing a great job shielding.
See that?
All right.
There's a little
ulti comes out, exactly. Root gonna have to get out of the way of that one. Double knock up from the Call of the Forge God. They're looking to try and burst down the dragon, and Jhin is the one that actually grabs it somehow. So Soul Point now belongs to Sandbox as a Freaka, not actually able to start any sort of fight. Felt really against the flow of play, but
yeah,
I guess, you know, against the flow of play would have been actually some people dying. But we once again have a little bit of a stalemate. Fate also has a Luden's Pulse, which is really sad, as he also has 2 sticks. Could have been turned into a much better item. But I guess Sandbox just wanted to have as much power at that time in order to get that Mountain Drake.
Yeah, must be. And they're going to regret that, I suppose, coming into the later stages of this game as we're almost passing the 30-minute mark. We're leaning back in our rocking chairs.
No, I'm not. I'm on the edge of my seat.
You know.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
I'm in fact standing.
Nobody died in that last fight.
No, they didn't.
Just only Dragon.
Dragon definitely died. In fact, jungle camps are dying left, right, and center.
True.
Because Spirit is here. Ooh. Clear out that vision.
They used Mikhail's for that.
Interesting.
There's a lot of respect for the lockdown there.
Ooh. Mystic. Finds Summit.
Double Mountain Drake Horn is unbelievably tanky. I mean, Mystic has his power spike essentially with 3 items.
Oh my god!
It's great against Gorilla.
Mystic is going to be able to run around and get himself out of the way, but on fleek he's looking for it. Facebreaker comes in, there's the showstopper, but he's all alone, and Mystic's just going to shoot him down. On fleek should be dying here as Keen in the backline is going to be able to go 1 versus 4 and smash down almost 2 people. Spirit. There's all of that dot damage. And it doesn't even really need an ultimate, as now he's just prancing. Triple kill for Lilia. And I have to shout out Keen there for just being the biggest nuisance in a backline I've ever seen. Because the set engage, I mean, yes, it was very forced, but it looked like it was going to work. and then there was a crocodile, and then it was over.
Yeah, they got zoned by Keen alone, essentially. As we're going to break this one down once again. So Keen, in the beginning, he immediately chunks Gorilla, but what's more important than that is that he gets out of position. So this baits on Fleek into a really deep spot. So watch Keen. He's like, okay, on Fleek's in the back. I'm just sitting here in the front. Waits for his time, hits it.
Oh my god.
And gets in and spams down onto Gorilla. It goes down in the end, but you can see that actually Spirit really took over this fight. Once it was broken up, he was able to follow up the Renekton, who took all the aggro and land a bunch of, what's it called, Dream Dust?
Yep.
Onto everybody.
And it's Dream Dust, yeah.
Then he just went to work as...
And he put them all to sleep, and then he bunged them.
Yeah, so I want to see what he bought. Notice he bought the Zhonya's and then sold it. So he's like, well, I still have stopwatch.
Rylai's.
Let me buy a straight-up Rylai's. That is definitely the right decision. Good job by Spirit, and it's exactly what you wanted, Atlas. It's going to be so good.
Yeah.
The value, the multipliers.
It's my favorite item combo in the game, actually, Rylai's.
Yeah.
Leandri's. I used to play Zyra a lot, and that would be all I'd build. Because it means you can miss all of your skill shots, and as long as your plants are shooting them, you do 1 trillion damage. It's so good.
Use your ultimate just to empower your plants. Like,
oh yeah, that's what I do. It's like actually a buff to your plants.
Yeah.
That's you don't need to hit people with it. You don't need that. People think that
cares
it's like
about
huge
the
burst damage.
No.
Nah, it's not about that.
Well, we got a sniper here on the Rift with a Last Whisper.
Yep.
And a QSS after that last fight.
Mega high value double ward positioning. Mystic going to get all of that money as Fly split pushing on the bottom side, as TF loves to do. Rabadon's Death Cap and the Luden's Pulse now completed for Fate, so he does have a fair bit of damage, but would have had more if the upgrade had been on the correct item. Maybe sell the Ludens.
Whoa.
Re-upgrade, buy a new item. I don't even know whether that works. I don't play enough on to know.
Say probably. I haven't played. I think I played like 3 games of Ornn.
I think you lose, you lose 2,000 gold if you do that as the Swirl Seed. Sales by. Now I kind of wish Spirit had have played the Lilia up against T1. It sort of looked at the global stats and looked at what Lilia's been capable of and been like, well, I don't think she's going to offer enough, but I guess if you can make the game get to 35 minutes, she looks pretty nutty, and now she's actually got a health bar.
She's got this... The swirling seeds, you know, we were kind of talking about how cute they are. They're not cute anymore.
No.
They land the slow and they burn for so much health. It doesn't matter who you are. And here we go. Mountain Drake is going to be taken by Mystic. There's nobody to get in and challenge this one. So both teams on soul points.
Steals that one by himself. Root very close to 6 items. Not quite there yet. Mystic, he's got a Last Whisper and a QSS. Not a lot of item slots remaining, but will have the ability to chunk down Summit a little bit more effectively, as well as get out of some of the CC that is going to be available here from Sandbox at a very, very long range, so you can understand exactly why he wants to do that. Mystic getting some autos onto On-Fleek. Haymaker now on cooldown. The Spirit wants to get some of that poke through, soften up this Ornn. But that bowling ball is just going to find a minion. But Afreeca are actually doing a pretty decent job of spreading Sandbox out, despite the fact that they don't have the Baron buff or anything like that. Is going to be available in 2.5 minutes as Root is trying to find something there. Looked very aggressive what he was doing. As that's real sad. Oh, walked back for it and still didn't get it. Cannon Creep goes begging. And Afreeca, they're going to back away. 4 minutes until the Mountain Drake. Both teams on soul point. Everyone very tanky. Just mountains everywhere.
Yeah, we're just stacking the mountains, stacking the items. We have definitely entered the late game as Keen eventually goes into a bit more tanky of a build.
Yep.
Definitely is going to be looking for those back lines, and he's really the one frontliner of his team, so it's not like he was going to go like play to the Rune King or anything like that. As we have seen from some of the other Renektons, most damage currently in the game goes to Lilia. Certainly has been doing some insane team damage in every single one of these fights.
Yeah, if she swirls around and gets her like her Deer Decimates.
Deer Decimates.
Yeah. Peacemaker comes in, not looking very peaceful at all. As OnFleek is going to find Spirit. There's the showstopper, but Spirit just uses his Zhonya's. Now Fly. He's going to be able to catch out Fate there, and now Spirit's dancing on top. Lilting Lullaby comes in, but flash over the wall to get Fate out of the way. OnFleek now just going to get up towards the minion wave, and very defensive there from Afrika, but it looks like they want more. There are multiple backs coming through, and Mystic is still just killing minions everywhere he can. Lord Dominic's Regard actually completed. Not really worried about denying any of the healing because there's just not a lot of it. On the side of Sandbox, I like the decision. Everything that's about sustain is really shields through the Karma, so you really don't need things like Morello or the Mortal Reminder. Feels like teams have certainly figured that out a little bit more than they used to.
We've got there. We've got some other item purchases that do come in.
Yep, Ardent Sensor done for Ben as well. Not only is it a great item for Mystic, but also a very efficient one stat-wise. It's good news. 26 seconds on the Baron. Maybe there'll be a fight? Probably not.
Whoa.
No, I don't
get ahead of yourself.
I don't want to be too crazy. 1,500 damage per crit here from Root. And every time Rapid Fire Cannon comes up, you get very, very scared of whoever's going to be bopped by this Jhin. Especially if he can grab it on a 4th bullet, which is very hard to do.
Sandbox have grouped up. They're like, well, we want to exert some pressure and not just let you move into the Baron pit for free.
Teleport. Out of vision of Sandbox. There's the Destiny. Summit sets up the Ornhorn as Fly gets into position, but Keen already into the backline as the Showstopper comes down. He's got a stopwatch. Fly looking for the right target for that gold card. Oh my god, the AoE out from this Lilia puts everyone to sleep, but it's a 1-for-1 in the end. The Ornn, however, the front line has been removed by Afrika, and now they set up looking for another one. Mystic's free hitting. There's now Ben off to the side. You can see Lilia just dancing, prancing, having a great time all over Sandbox. Triple kill for Mystic. Ace in the hole comes down. Fate gonna get chunked, but more importantly, his position has been given away. Spirit, look at that. Just looking beautiful as he goes golden, posing for the camera. And Afrika might actually just look to end the game because these death timers are extremely long.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had death timers this long, but 38.5 minutes, Afrika finally do it. They open it up, they get Sandbox into a position to get flanked by Teleport and by Destiny Gate. And that's all they were looking for. They finally make it happen. They force the fight. They win the series.
That's going to be the Nexus going down. It was a 2-1 victory, but it still went in favor of Afrika. They would have preferred a 2-0 that gets them much closer to confirming their playoff berth. But still, it's going to be a very hard road for KT to catch up. They have to beat not only Afrika, but also Damwon in order to keep their dreams alive, and that will be very, very difficult for KT. However, we will see them, even if they don't make playoffs, we'll see them in the World's Gauntlet. They are the only other team that has any championship points. And that also gives us a first round, and we want a first round, you know? Otherwise, I turn up for work, and there's like, what are you here for, man?
Yeah, we would like a first round. We'd like it to be more than just 2 days.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, you know, we can hope. I would imagine after this win that Afrika are looking pretty good to take it, but that match against KT is going to mean a lot.
It's absolutely right. KT keep their dream alive if they're able to actually take down Afrika. That will be next week. In fact, next week there are a lot of pretty cool answers, as I don't know why you voted for Keen.
I did vote for Keen.
Why not Lilia?
I thought about it, and I don't know. I feel like Keen did a lot more, and even in the team fights, like the way he was opening them up, like the flash on the Syndra the one time on the blue side, and the time where the set went super deep, but then he went deep and actually got a lot of value out of it. He also did really well up in the top side to push in. Obviously, it was a 2-on-1 to take out Ornn that one time in the enemy jungle.
Yeah.
But I guess the arguments for Spirit was that he got the jungle into a spot to really get ahead. That's kind of just Lilia things, though, you know? Like, the ability to just walk into the enemy jungle and clear the Raptors in, like, 5 seconds at level 1 is pretty insane. And, I mean, he had a great game as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Spirit does pick it up.
Yeah, I expect there to be votes for Keen and Spirit. I actually think Afrika just played well as a team. I mean, also the Caitlyn managing to get a bit of work done here as Mystic on a positional-based carry with long range is certainly his wheelhouse. Let's have a look at this fight, the flash forward from Keen. And you're right, I think Keen was making a lot of the most proactive plays, but the follow-up from Spirit was also just beautiful.
Yeah.
Goes in, QR, and Sandbox just have to get out of there. A lot of, like, because this game did feel like it was on a knife's edge throughout the early to mid game. And not a lot was happening, but it also looked like, you know, from this moment here, the long-range pick that Sandbox had was definitely valuable. And this looked like an overextension from Afrika.
Yeah, eventually ends up being so. And this was the one fight that they actually kind of cleanly lost. Eventually, we saw the dive onto the Lilia as well, out of On Fleek, who, by the way, goes over vision. And they still didn't really fully respect the ability of Set to do what he does here.
Yeah. And this was Keen just diving on in and getting peeled pretty well, actually.
This was like a fly. This is like a fly player of the game highlight, you know?
Yeah, there we go.
His ability to get in there and then follow up by Spirit eventually.
Damn, Fate, I think, got touched by some ability that Spirit threw out and just burned for what felt like forever. I don't know, I feel like Lily is certainly showing that she does a misleadingly gigantic amount of damage.
Yeah.
Can't really see it when it initially happens.
Remember, he also died at level 3.
Yeah, right?
In the enemy jungle. So the jungle could have even been won even harder by Spirit than it was.
As this is the fight you were talking about, Kane almost actually dying and then held on to his empowered Q for a really long time.
He did some insane damage in that fight too. Spirit comes in and cleans him up.
So much money. Just looking at all the money here that good old Bambi's picking up.
Bong.
Yep. Bong. And this is the teleport that was just so perfectly placed here by Keen. Gets towards that back line, the Destiny paired alongside it. And then just felt like Keen was surviving for way longer than most Renekton's that we see in a late game ever really do. But it's because, I mean, the Jhin just doesn't have a lot of tank busting ability. So even if you are just stacking massive amounts of health, it is still going to be okay. Mystic just free hitting. Having a great time.
These broken down fights certainly look great for Caitlyn, Lilia, all that good jazz. And yeah, eventually they pick up the ace, they push in and win. Teleport comes in from the TF, and that was about that. Caitlyn did end up doing the most damage at the end of the day. I suppose in a game this long, that shouldn't be too surprising, but thought that maybe Lilia was going to take the cake, but not the case.
The last team fight was the last opportunity, and unfortunately Lilia didn't do quite enough damage as an attack-moving Caitlyn was able just to turret that entire time, but it was based on the fact that, you know, Spirit and Keen did such a good job frontlining. It's been the day of, like, jungle top lane.
It has.
So, like, both of our matches that we've had.
It really has.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of focus, different picks, right? More Renekton coming in again today. Quinn came out. We see Ornn thrown back in. You know, Summit is really one of those top laners that's still trying to make Ornn work. Spirit is going to pick it up.
Yep.
And it was going to be one of the two of Keen and Spirit. Much like the Dom1 series. Not angry about this one in the slightest.
See whether it was 11 out of 12. I'll let you guys know to make sure that we can name and shame
Don't
as
tell them.
effectively as possible. If our producer could please let us know. Even feel free to lie. That was actually 6 out of 12. So there are a few other stray votes around, so it certainly was not confirmed.
5 for top and 1 for bot.
One for Mystic.
What?
I think that might have been media.
Oh, can we please get a...
that was the China vote. And we actually heard from Teddy what they explain about when everyone seems to be performing well, then they just vote for the guy with the biggest stats.
Yeah, well,
it's
I don't even think he had the biggest stats.
I mean, he did the most damage. And his job is to do damage.
Sure.
Okay? So you can understand exactly why. But Spirit's still going to grab it. So the correct person does collect the player of the game, and that is going to mean Spirit gets a solo interview. And hopefully we can ask him why he's feeling a little bit glum today, because he hasn't necessarily been his exuberant self. And maybe that's what we're going to get when we're going into the interview.
Yeah.
Sort of figure it out.
I'm curious to pick his brain about Lilia as well.
Yeah.
And so many AP junglers nowadays, especially with Nidalee going up in value and Lilia coming into the mix.
Exactly right. Let's throw it.
Thank you very much, guys. This is season interview translation, and let's have a solo POG interview with Spirit on the side of Africa Freaks, taking down Sandbox Gaming 2-1. In game number 3, I played so bad, so I thought we were almost losing it, but somehow we won this game, so it feels nice. But after the game number 3, you looked happy, posing to the camera as well. Yeah, I'm definitely happy that we got this win. So we have so many questions over to you, Spirit. So today's match was so important. However, all 3 games were so long. So how did the players manage to focus up in this series? After losing game number 2, we were so worried, to be honest. And we knew that we were going to be in such a big trouble if we lose. We're going to be losing the playoffs opportunity, so we were trying to do our best. Sat is still having a high priority, but you guys were opening on the side of Sandbox Gaming. Maybe that was your intention, right? Did you guys think that giving Sat over to Sandbox gives you guys more opening in terms of pick and bans? We knew that Summit will be the only player to utilize it, but on Flick, well, he did play well on this champion in the jungle, so that was not something we expected. But still, somehow, we were able to get the win. However, up against such a great pick, the jungle Sat, you were also playing well on a champion that is not on the top of the tier list, Trundle. When I locked in Trundle, so we were actually like opening more space for other players since I got some of the low priority pick in the jungle. Moving on. You are popping off on Trundle, so let's move on to game number 2. We are so curious about the comp that you guys tried. Quinn, Lux. Was that something you guys prepared? Or did something go wrong during the pick and ban? The comp didn't look that clean overall. During scrims, we had decent results on those picks. However, overall, we had some errors in our comp. So we knew that we kind of screwed up our pick and bans. So I think the players should have been a little bit more vocal during the pick and ban. So you guys were able to pick Lilia in game number 3. Well, you promised that you're going to pick it up against T1, but today was the day. And you did play well on this champion, but at the same time, it seemed like Sandbox didn't know how to deal with this champion. Well, Lilia is champion that shouldn't die. However, my plan failed at 3-minute mark. So I was like, oh, I'm in a trouble. However, Keen just performed so well. So we were able to kind of play around him and get the win. How do you rate Lilia currently? Unless you die in level 3, I think it's a decent champion. You shouldn't die on Lilia. Even though you died, you kept going for the counter jungling and you did manage to pull off a really good jungle pathing. Do you think this champion connects with you really well? In the previous interview, so you guys asked me that you are really good at like counter jungling, so that's why I ended up coming up with Lilia pick. Game number 3 was really close, so when was the moment that players thought that you guys got this game in your hand? I thought we lost the game until we won the final team fight, but somehow we won. Because yeah, I was totally trolling, so I thought this was gonna be a hard game. Your next opponent will be KT Roaster, and it's gonna be the decider match for the playoffs berth. KT Roaster, they are just like their name. It's gonna be a roller coaster game, but yeah, we will do our best. So this will be the end of the interview with Spirit on the side of Africa Freaks. And thank you very much for this interview and congratulations on the win. After a very extended series, Africa Freaks managed to pick up the win. So let's check out the new standings in the LCK.
Thank you so much, Ji-sun, for the interview translation. Great to hear from Spirit. Looks like his, I was about to say spirits are up, and now I couldn't think of it.
Yeah.
I was saying it. Looks like he's feeling a little bit better than
Yeah.
what he looked like on camera. And that's definitely good news. Africa move up to 9-match wins. Still possible for KT to get to 9-match wins. They will also get to 0 points, which is a good thing. Because if Africa lose their next 2 matches, they'll be -2. So losing a game here is actually quite important.
For sure. And they have a bit of the control in their own hands as well, because the next matchup is Africa versus KT.
Right.
So if KT win that one, then, of course, they do have to defeat Damwon, which, again, it's going to be difficult, guys. We're not going to lie to you. It's going to be really difficult, but we'll see what they can do tomorrow. Wow. Gen.G versus Homolife. DRX versus SeolHaeOne Prince.
These are some games. We did see a very similar day like this earlier on. They were fun, but they were pretty one-sided, and we're expecting that again. But we do need to see the form of Gen.G and the consistency of DRX. DRX just managed to take down Homolife Esports. They looked good, but we'll see how much better they can look against SeolHaeOne Prince moving into some more difficult matches, and of course, that last one against T1.
Yeah. Certainly, it could be a day of, honestly, a little bit of Monopoly, right?
Yeah.
Pass go and collect 200 for these top teams. And, again, Homolife and SeolHaeOne Prince haven't had much success this season, so maybe they can put on a good performance. Should be one of their last couple of games, I would imagine, for both teams. So, again, as I mentioned yesterday, I believe, every single time they come out, these players want to put on a good performance to raise their stonks for next year.
Exactly right. In the end, it all comes down to the stonks. But that is it for us tonight. We'll see you tomorrow for more LCK.
World has changed and I am ready to take it on. You told me to be myself and never feel alone. You're all that I want, you're all that I need. If I was ever in the dark, I'd